So you're new to Retro Handhelds, you've seen some of these crazy little devices on the market, and you're thinking, what one do I get? Which one do I get first? How much are they? And how easy are they to use? In today's video, we're going to go through some of my favourites and ones I would recommend to anyone that's just starting out in this crazy gaming handheld scene. Hi guys, and welcome to Owl's Retro Handhelds. Thanks for joining us today. So in today's little video, we're going to be going through some of what I think is best for people just starting out in this hobby. People that have seen the handhelds about, they want to know what they're about, they want to get their first little handheld. In front of us here, we've got 5 of what I would say are probably the best beginner kind of handhelds that you can get at the moment. Mostly because of their ease of use and their cost. So let's go through each of these one by one. We're going to start with the very top left corner, which is one of my all-time favourites. That's called the Miyoo Mini. Not to be confused with the Miyoo Mini Plus, which is just below it in the bottom left corner here, the black one. We're currently talking about the transparent blue one in the top left, the Miyoo Mini. Now, these were discontinued for a short while due to the fact that the screen they have is a 2.8 inch screen, and Miyoo at the time was having trouble making these screens. Currently, if you go onto Aliexpress and search for the Miyoos Official Store, you'll find that a number of these are available at the moment. They come in 5 different colours, which are the transparent blue, as you can see in front of us here. You can also get transparent black, you can get a pure white one, you can get a yellow one, or you can get what I call a DMG Game Boy colour one, which is kind of like a grey colour with similar colour buttons to a Game Boy, with like burgundy buttons. The one in front of us here is the transparent blue one. The reason I recommend these is A, because they're now available again. They're really quite cheap. They're £60. I think you can get these delivered because you do have to pay customs tax if you're in the UK. So they're about £60 delivered at the moment. They're not too big. They're a lovely little size. They're not too small either. As I say, they're one of my favourite handhelds. They come with stock system, but you can easily put on what we call custom firmware. So for Miyoo, you can actually use custom firmware called Onion OS. Absolutely great little operating system it is. It's Linux based. All of these systems in front of us here are Linux based. With the Onion system, you can easily download all different themes, all different types. Teenage Mutant Turtle themes, Nintendo themes, Sonic the Hedgehog themes. I've actually created my own theme on this particular blue one, which has Sonic the Hedgehog on it. Let's fire it up quickly for you guys so you can see. So as you can see, it goes into Miyoo. There's like Sega style typing. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog here as a boot screen. Then you've got the Green Hill Zone as the background. And what I've done is I've just put on the artwork from all the different games. From Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and then Sonic Spinball as the different areas. So yeah, I think they're great because they're really customizable, as you can see here with this particular one. So I'm going to leave that on there like that. So that's the Miyoo Mini. Thoroughly recommended. The next step up from a Miyoo Mini is also Miyoo. It's this particular lady here, which is called the Miyoo Mini Plus. This one's a little bit more powerful than the one we've just seen. Has a nice, much bigger screen, a 3.5 inch screen. Let's fire this one up. Same with this one, you can put Onion OS on this. In fact, you can switch the cards between each device. Seems to be no problem. So this one, as you can see here, I've loaded up with a Streets of Rage theme, which I've custom made myself with all different images. So we've got exactly the same kind of setup as on the little mini one there. We've got faves, games, apps and tools. So exactly the same kind of thing. You can go into games here, and as you can see on my one here, we've got all the different systems and like a kind of cartoon style. You can see the background behind them there. If you go into any kind of listing here, if we go into say tools, you can see my background behind it there. I've done the orange text with the orange bar. So that's how she works. The Miyoo Mini Plus, they're really quite reasonable priced. They currently go for around £70. One of the benefits of these is they do come with Wi-Fi. So if you wanted to get all your box art and things, you can do what's called scrape for the box art via a Wi-Fi connection, get all your box art put on. So that's the first two. Definitely thoroughly recommended. Miyoo, although they haven't done too many devices, certainly not as many as Anbernic, they really are pretty decent quality, very affordable, very easy to use, which is the two main concepts we're going for here today. We're going for ease of use and affordability. So the next one we've got up here, one of my favourites, they're all my favourites, but this one is the Anbernic RG35XX. Let's fire this little lady up, shall we? So on this particular lady, I've put like an orange theme. This is already made by another developer. Let's just fire her up. And so this actually runs on, as it says there, Garlic OS as an operating system. Very similar to Onion in pretty much all aspects really. Nice and easy to use. When you originally buy it, it does come with a stock firmware, although I do believe that Anbernic are now sending these out with Garlic already installed. So Garlic was made by a person in the community, a chap called Black Serif and his team. I think they've done a grand job making these. As I say, same with the Miyoos, you can download all different kinds of themes for these. On this one, as you can see here, I've got a nice cool little onion theme. These devices have got 2 SD slots as opposed to just a single SD slot on the Miyoos that we've just mentioned. So with this particular little lady, she's got 1 TB of storage because I've put 2 500 gig SD cards in there. On her we've got, if we go in quickly, as you can see here, I don't know how familiar you guys are with some of these things, but we've got loads of different TV series. So we've got Airwolf, All Creatures Great and Small, Dad's Army, Open All Hours, Only Fools and Horses, Last of Summer Wine and Knight Rider. I've put the complete box sets of those onto this device. Also, if we go into movies here, we can see that I've got 100, there's 350 games on here. I've made all the box art for them, so they've all got images, full length films, all films that I own on DVD. Now I've shrunk down in size so they don't take up as much room. Yeah, again with this, so that's really the front page is all films and TV series. We can go through onto all the different game systems. Again, I've got pretty much whole ROM sets for all of these systems, both the 8-bit and 16-bit, the Sega, Nintendo, etc, etc. These play all the systems up to PS1. Same as the first two we've mentioned, they play all the systems up to PS1, so that's arcade, Nintendo, Sega, Neo Geo, all that kind of thing. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Yeah, they're great little systems. The Anbernic RG35XX, this one here is clear white. They come in 3 different colours, which is clear white, clear purple and black, I believe. They value at around £57 delivered. So probably the cheapest of the ones we've mentioned so far. Similar price really to the Miyoo Mini original. Very affordable, very user friendly, perfect size. They're just the right size really. I think they're not too small. They're not as small as the Miyoo Mini, and they're certainly not big. They can fit in a pocket. They've got little shoulder buttons on the back here. Thoroughly recommended. Like I said, this is one of my favourites. So that's the RG35XX. Next to that, we've got another Anbernic RG35XX, but this is the Plus model, which is very similar in every way to the one we've just gone through. However, the specifications on this, it's got a much more powerful CPU, it's got more memory, it's got the same dual slots here. I've only put a 500 gig card in this one because it hasn't got all my films and bits on it. Originally, one of the downsides of the Plus, this particular one, was this stock operating system that it came with wasn't great, and there wasn't really much available at the time. I do believe Garlic are in the process of making a system for it, but that's currently not as yet released. Not in full mode anyway. I think there's betas available. However, recently Koriki came about for this, which is Batasira Lite. Now it does take a little while to load up, as we're seeing here, but this is a lovely little system. Again, very easy to install, very customizable. You've got a number of themes you can download for it. You can see it takes a good minute to boot up, so it does take a moment to load up. While that's loading, let's go through the price. So the price for the RG35XX Plus is £70. So again, very affordable. It's based on Emulation Station. Let's turn this down. I had turned it down earlier, but it's obviously come up on a default sound. So you can see here, guys, the system is beautiful. It's really quite a nice little system. You can really customize this as well with how it looks, all different themes. You can adjust how your game listing comes up, whether you want it as a list or grid. I have mine like this. Let's go into Mega Drive and I'll show you how mine looks. So let's go into Mega Drive here. And it's got all the systems, same as all the others. These all play the same sort of systems really, all the way up into PS1. So this is how I have mine set up. I have my little box art here. It gives you a little description of each game. So this is based on Emulation Station, this particular operating system. And very easy to use, guys. Very recommended. Let's leave it on the Game Boy one here because I like the artwork for that. So that's our first four beginners ones. They're all what we call vertical handhelds. We're going to move on to this one now, guys. So this is the Anbernic RG35XX-H. H for horizontal. Fairly recent handheld, came out around Christmas time. Very shortly after they'd released the Plus, actually. So literally a couple of weeks later they released the horizontal. So let's fire this up because it's going to take a little while. I've actually put the same operating system onto this. So originally you only had stock available really for these. This has got the same one as the system I've just shown you. It's got Batasira Lite, or Koriki as it's known. I'm going to pop it up there while it just loads up, and we'll go through some specs on this. So this little lady currently will set you back about £78. So again, very affordable. The size of it is a little bit narrower than the 35XX or the Plus. It's a little bit taller, fits in the pocket lovely. The one difference with this and all the others is it does have analog sticks here, as you can see. And the other difference is, same with the Plus actually, which I failed to mention, is they do actually play N64, Sega Saturn and Dreamcast, which the first three we've gone through don't. they don't play those, they only go up to PS1. Whereas the 35XX-H, let's turn that down again because it's coming up on default sound. So this one and this one both play in 64, Saturn and Dreamcast, and the other three only play up to PS1. The great thing with this operating system, this Battle Serialite, as you've just heard there, is you can put background music on, and I love that functionality. I love to be able to put, because I've got all the different Sonic theme tunes, Streets of Rage tunes, all different kind of game related theme tunes that I like, and I've put them on as my background. So you can actually go into select here and you can choose the next tune just like that. So exactly the same system as the one we've just shown. There you go, we've got Dreamcast. So we'll quickly scroll through the systems on here. You've got all the Atari 8-bits, the 2600, let's turn that down again, the 2600, the 5200, 7800, Atari Lynx, Commodore 64, the old computers, Amiga CD, that's the old Amiga computers, PC Engine, Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Beats of Rage. We've got ports that you can put in on there, ports of games, Atomic Wave, we've got Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, my favourite, Game Gear, Mega CD, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Neo Geo, PlayStation 1, PSP, and we're back to the start here with all games. Favourite system here where you can favouritize games, FB Neo, didn't mention that one. So with a lot of these systems, one thing I do like, as I've mentioned before, is the ability to have a favourites section, so you can put all your different ROMs on there and you don't have to worry about having thousands of games to go through, because you can just go into favourites and favouritize whatever games you like. So they're the 5 systems I'd recommend, guys, if you're just new to this scene and you're just getting into the into the systems and you're really unsure which one to get. There are much more expensive systems out there, guys, don't get me wrong. In previous videos I've shown a number of different handhelds that I own, and once you're starting to play PS2, GameCube and things like that, you're looking at 150 plus for those types of systems. For all the systems, if you just want to play the older retro systems, you're probably looking at around anywhere from £50 to £80 for a handheld that will play all of those comfortably. My favourites being the 5 that we have in front of us here. So we'll just quickly go through each of these again very quickly. Top left, light blue, translucent blue, we've got the Miyoo Mini Original, that's around £60. Bottom left, the black one, we've got the Miyoo Mini Plus, that goes for around £70. In the middle, with the clear white, we've got the RG35XX, which goes for £57. To the right here, we've got the RG35XX Plus, and she goes for £70. She's gone to sleep a little bit there. And then in the top right corner, finally, we've got the RG35XX-H, the most recent one out on the table here of these 5, and she's the most expensive at £78 priced from. Out of these 5, which would I recommend the most? The Miyoo Mini I would recommend if you want something nice and small, but bear in mind it's probably the least powerful of all 5 of these. But my absolute favourite at the moment, guys, out of all 5 of these, you've probably all guessed it, it's got to be this lady, the RG35XX-H, just because she's really fairly powerful. I can play N64 in it quite nicely. She's got the dual analog sticks, which makes controlling it a bit easier, and I think she's beautiful, as I do most Anbernic devices. Actually, I think they've spot on with a lot of their designs. So if you're looking to get a handheld, guys, this would be my recommendation for number 1 at the moment, for being cost effective and easy to use. Only because recently this came out with the Battle Serialite being available, and being usable. That's the only reason why. If that hadn't come out yet and this was still on stock, although stock is still fine, and I would still recommend it for sure, I would probably have said go with maybe the RG35XX because of the garlic firmware, or the Miyoo Mini Plus. The only difference between these two is this has Wi-Fi and this doesn't, but this has HDMI out and this one doesn't. So that was really the only difference between those two. So there you go, guys. That's my top choice for the 5 beginner handhelds I would recommend personally to anyone just getting into the scene. I hope you've liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you love this kind of content. Thanks for swinging by, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, absolutely love it.